All right, let's recap some football, man. That was some weekend, and that was especially some Sunday. Uh, I guess I'll just go game by game. Obviously, the ones yesterday, Bengals beat the Titans. So that was the one game I got right for the weekend. I did pick the Bengals. Titans, they're just cursed. When they're the number one seed, they're cursed. I think that's at least now the third time they've been the one seed and they've gotten bounced in their first game. Um, you know, Tannehill sucked. He was throwing terrible picks. No one was blocking for either quarterback. What was it, 9 sacks on Joe Burrow? I don't know how many the Bengals got on Tannehill, but no one was pass blocking. Bengals just made a couple more plays. They had a couple more explosive plays, and they didn't turn the ball over. Got a little annoying. People talking about Burrow winning the game on his own. It's like, it's a nice gutty win. I like Joe Burrow. I would take him on the Vikings, believe me. But that was not a game that was won by the quarterback. Very few games are just single-handedly won by the quarterback. But this is the argument that I will have until I'm on my deathbed, apparently. There's people coming out. For some reason, this game had nothing to do with Kirk Cousins, but they're coming out. The same people who always do it come out after the game and like, well, Kirk could have done that. Yeah, I think I saw like in the history of the NFL, or maybe this is just like since the merger or something, like 2 times in the whole history, has a team won a game when they gave up that many sacks. So yeah, he probably wouldn't have done it because it almost never fucking happens. It was like 2 out of like 150 times or some crazy number like that. But Bengals are legit. They're more legit, I think, for the long run than the Browns were when they were kind of the upstart last year with the young quarterback. I think the Bengals are set up for a longer run and a more legit run than the Browns were. And the Titans, next time they're in position to where they can get the 1 seed, they should just tank for like a 2 seed or something if they can. So then obviously the one that had me absolutely thrilled last night was somehow the 49ers winning in Lambeau. I still don't know how that happened. I ended up, the way that game started, I didn't think I was even going to finish watching the first half. I didn't think, maybe not even the first quarter. Because the Packers just went right down the field, 7-0. They were driving again, fumbled. Prior to that fumble, there was no way I'm going to watch this bullshit. Go watch something else or stare at the wall or something. But D'Amico Ryans, he interviewed today for the Vikings head coaching job. I mean, I don't know what was said in the interview. I would just, if I were D'Amico Ryans, I'd just bring up the film of the game of the game last night and just be like, here, just look at this. Because that's probably the worst Aaron Rodgers has ever looked in a playoff game. Because first drive touchdown, they didn't score any more touchdowns. They only got the 1 field goal. And it still didn't look like it was going to matter because the 49ers sucked for most of the game. They weren't moving on offense. They weren't catching passes. They weren't doing anything. But then it's 10-3, and there's 5-6 minutes to go. We're just playing out the string. There was never a point where I'm thinking that the 49ers have any chance, and then they get the punt block touchdown, which one of the weirdest looking punt block touchdowns you'll ever see, where the ball, 22 guys on the field. I think about 5 of them had any clue where the ball even was. Luckily, it bounced just into a big swarm of 49ers and they got in. But then you're still thinking, okay, you know, you know, here's where Aaron Rodgers gets one of those just preposterously easy game-winning drives. But that didn't happen. They their defense, 49ers defense was just really, really good, and they made Aaron Rodgers look really, really bad. And then they get the ball at the end. They do just enough to get into field goal range, and they hit the field goal. And I haven't stopped laughing about it for 24 hours. It was amazing. I loved it. Nothing makes me. And we'll be getting to the other one that makes me extremely happy. But no one deserved to go out like this, like Aaron Rodgers, that anti-vaxxer, smug, pseudo-intellectual prick who thinks he's God's gift, who thinks he's the smartest guy in the room when he's actually a complete fucking idiot. He doesn't know shit. Talking about how he's being silenced when every fucking thought that pops into his idiot boy mind is public knowledge. Like he's doing interviews. He's doing a big interview with ESPN days before a playoff game, talking about how he's being silenced. He's not being allowed to speak. Like what? And he whines about cancel culture and he whines about all this bullshit. He's one of he's kind of like almost like the worst kind of person. He's a really stupid person who thinks he's really smart. And his abilities as a quarterback I've always grudgingly respected. But he's become the most loathsome figure in all of sports. And he deserved this so much. He deserves this to go out and finally, just like the first time that Green Bay has lost a playoff game, really in his career, where people are actually finally blaming him a little bit. For some reason, this whole cancer that is QB wins, for some reason that's never been the losses have never been blamed on Aaron Rodgers. He's kind of had the Brady thing where they win a game, it's all because of him. They lose, it's all because of other factors. There's always an excuse, and Rodgers is often the guy who makes making excuses. He's thrown everybody under the bus, including Mike McCarthy and teammates and everybody. He's more often than not, I think, played fine in playoff games, but he's never gotten the blame, and obviously he was worse in this than most of these other games. But what helps him is he won his Super Bowl real early. It was his third year as a starter. He won a Super Bowl. And he won the Super Bowl because his defense was incredibly dominant during that playoff run. But he's never even been back to a Super Bowl, and that's in 10 years now, where more often than not he hasn't had too much competition in the division. Vikings have popped up a couple times, Bears popped up once or twice. Detroit had one or two playoff seasons in there, but really it's pretty much been the Packers division to own. They've been playing home playoff games every year. They've hosted NFC Championship games. They played in a bunch. They played in 4 NFC Championship games since the Super Bowl that they did win. They never got back, and I don't think anyone would have thought that was going to happen. And they won that first one, and then they're 15-1 the year after that, and it's like, oh God, they're going to win it. They're going to win a whole bunch of Super Bowls with Rodgers, and that didn't happen. Some of that is him. If any other quarterback had that kind of track record of playoff losses, chokes, you name it. I mean, they would have a different reputation than Aaron Rodgers has. Because no one's out there talking about Aaron Rodgers as a playoff choke artist, but probably they should be. Because it's like, yeah, they've won some playoff games in the last 10 years too, but a lot of those aren't that impressive. And so is this the end? And this is going to be media hype, and it's going to be annoying. I even bought into it a little bit last offseason. Aaron Rodgers is not leaving the Packers. He's not. I don't think he's going to retire. I don't think he's going to get traded. I don't think he's going to just walk away. He's going to milk this for sure. He's going to milk it to for every drop, because he is a self-involved, just narcissist, of the highest order. And but I don't know, I don't know if he's going to be able to just force the Packers to do what they want, because Packers are in actual cap hell. People talk about the Vikings being in cap trouble. Packers are in even worse cap trouble. And they're going to have to let go of some guys. They're probably not going to get Devontae Adams. They're going to lose guys on defense. They're not going to be as good of an overall team next year. So that would be the one reason maybe he would go somewhere else. But I don't buy it. I think it's going to be milked as a story. There'll be leaks and news reports, and Lord knows he's going to fucking go. Even though he's being silenced, he's going to go on every fucking podcast, and talk about how he's being silenced, and talk about, what am I going to do next season? Is there going to be a next season? Who knows? It's going to be insufferable, but I think he'll end up just right back there with the Packers, because why not? He ain't gonna be he's a beloved figure in Green Bay. He's not gonna go to Pittsburgh or Denver or wherever else and be this beloved figure. He's not the way he's acting and portraying himself publicly. Not everyone's gonna stand for that bullshit. So adios, Aaron, you motherfucking prick. I'm glad you got eliminated. I hope I never see your fucking smug face again. And then on to the Sunday games. Certainly this has to be in the running for the best pair of playoff games on a single day ever. Boy, where do we even start? Where do we even start with LA Tampa? I picked Tampa. I expected Brady bullshit. The Brady bullshit. I'll probably explain the Brady bullshit here, but I thought the Rams would give them a run, but that they would lose. But I mean, the Rams were very dominant early. They looked really good on both sides of the ball. They're up 20-3. They're hitting Brady. They're hitting some big plays. It looked pretty good. But then here comes the Brady bullshit, which is the Brady bullshit is, which we've been seeing for 20 years. It's these bizarre occurrences in games involving Tom Brady teams where just crazy shit happens, typically with Brady actually not on the field when these things happen, typically, but it always benefits Brady's team. And we got one with the fumble. Brady throws a completely amateurish pick. Rams are inside the 5, or the ball carrier's inside the 5, and by inches he fumbles. He was inches from being down before the ball pops out. It was gonna be 27-3 at the half with the Rams getting the ball to start the third quarter. Instead, it's 20-3. Now they did go up then 27-3 in the second half, and then it was 27-6, and then the Brady bullshit happens where Cooper Kupp fumbles the ball for no reason, and they make it 14-point game after that, and then a little later they get a strip sack of Brady, but then the very next play, here comes the Brady bullshit where the Rams center snaps the ball. Stafford ain't ready for it. The thing goes like 30 yards the other way. Tampa gets the ball, so they actually benefit from the strip sack because they, in two plays of game action, they gain like 30 yards. This shit would only happen to a Brady team. I think I already passed the point. It's the Brady bullshit, and Brady always gets the credit for it. Chris Collinsworth, it was after the fumble when they were up 27-6. Chris Collinsworth gave Tom Brady credit for the Cooper Kupp fumble. He did. Everybody heard it. Everybody fucking heard it. He's immediately giving Tom Brady the credit for the fucking fumble. This is the shit that has driven me insane for 20 years. But luckily they were able to kind of hold them after that. It wasn't like nervous time yet, but like, so it's 27-13. Rams get it. They're in field goal range. Somehow their fucking kicker is short from 47 yards. Who goes short from 47 yards? Yeah, maybe you go wide from 47 yards, but he's short from 47 yards. It's the Brady bullshit. This stuff doesn't happen. These are things that just do not happen. But we still had so much Brady bullshit left to go. Because then, then Brady hits the one throw. Most of these games like this, he'll have one big pass play to make it look like he actually was like having some sort of an impressive game. He hits the long touchdown, terrible coverage, but whatever.
I think everyone knows their job. Coaches have done a good job with just kind of pinpointing, who changes for
it's just unbelievable. And then,
so we have possession. Guys aren't really throwing away pucks right away. We're not just.
Then the Rams get it back, and for no reason, running back fumbles the fucking ball with like 2.5 minutes left, which again, it's the Brady bullshit. This shit never fucking happens. That just doesn't happen. I guess it happened with the Vikings this year against Detroit when Madison fumbled, but like there was already so much Brady bullshit, and it was still happening. So they go, obviously, naturally, they go and fucking tie it up, and like everyone's making the comparisons to the Super Bowl, 28-3. It's like, I didn't think that was going to happen, because I was like, the Falcons were such like willing participants in that collapse, and I was like, oh, there's no way the Rams are going to do it. But then the Rams were like outdoing the Falcons. Like, I thought if this had ended up being a Tampa win, this would have been a worse loss than what happened to Atlanta. The stakes weren't as high, but it would have been a worse loss because the sheer number of just ridiculous things that they did. At least the Patriots, when the Super Bowl, at least they had to do some stuff themselves. Tampa wasn't having to do shit themselves. The Rams were just giving it to them on both sides. Like, it was just unbelievable. And fuck, even though the very last drive, Stafford damn near fumbled the ball. He does like a QB draw or just a scramble on like the first play, and he practically fumbled the ball. That would have been just ultimate Brady bullshit. But then they go deep. Antoine Winfield blows it, gets burned by Kupp, and they kick the field goal and they win the game. So they're off the hook. That would have been you lose a game like that, it destroys the franchise. The Falcons have never recovered from 23. The Houston Oilers never recovered from blowing that playoff game to Buffalo. They're not even they stopped even being a franchise. I mean, they moved. But you don't recover from that. But they got through it. They managed to slay the Brady bullshit. It's like it's like the dead animal, like an animal's about to die and they're thrashing around. Well, this was like the Brady bullshit thrashing around it. But maybe he was killed. Maybe that's the end. Don't think so. This will be the other thing that's going to get milked like you've never seen before. Season Tom Brady's not going to fucking retire. He ain't going to retire. Why would he retire?
That goes and help support breast cancer research and help the volunteers that help with cancer.
What would be the reason? What would be the reason for him to retire now?
It's been about 10 years now with the foundation through my mom's name.
I still think
awesome people here in Minnesota.
no one else has said this, and I have nothing to base it on other than just my feeling. I think he's going to end up playing for some other team that isn't even Tampa Bay. He's going to try to win a Super Bowl with 3 franchises because no one's ever done that. A couple guys have done it with 2. No one's ever done it with 3. I mean, he's already got all the fucking records. So I think he's got all of them now. And he's got all the postseason records. He's got the most Super Bowl titles and everything, but no one's ever done it with 3. So maybe he'll go to some other franchise. But I think he's a different kind of narcissist than Aaron Rodgers, but he's gonna milk this shit too. He's gonna milk it like crazy. Believe me, this is the greatest weekend in the history of pro sports. If it's the last time we see Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, period. I think it's going to be all a bunch of hype. I think Rodgers will be back with Green Bay. I think Brady will be back in Tampa. Or maybe he'll be with a different team. Maybe he'll go to a different team. I don't know. But he's not going to retire. We will have to deal with more Brady bullshit in the future. But it's just the Brady bullshit. Like the 10 biggest plays of that game, he was on the field for maybe 2 of them. It's just unbelievable. But he was going to get it, believe me. And fuck, even take the lead on a rushing touchdown. But they were going to give all the credit to Brady. That's what was going to happen. But Stafford and Cup saved us from having to deal with that. So, for the first time in since 2009, since the year Favre played the Saints and got cheated, and the Bounty Gate curse was born.
Where this team is at, and we touched on it before we got started.
Neither one of these assholes are in the championship round, and that's a wonderful thing. It's a great day for America. But the main event of the weekend, for me, and for most people, I think was Bills Chiefs. That was no doubt that was going to be the game. I think it's the de facto AFC Championship game. No offense to the Bengals. And the game was great. Probably, it probably is one of the 10 best playoff games ever. I mean, it's got to be somewhere in the running because the game was really well played all the way through. I don't believe there was a turnover. Both teams played really well. There was a little more defense, at least not at the end, but at least at least like in the first half, or maybe like the first 3 quarters than I expected. Buffalo had to use their punter. They didn't even have to punt last week. But we're going to be seeing these Chiefs Bills playoff games for many years to come, I think.
All right, Marcus, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Really, there's nothing to talk about until the last few minutes. It was like 14-all at the half.
Yeah, thank you.
Then it was what, 23-14 Chiefs. Their kicker had missed a couple kicks. They missed a field goal, and then he booted a PAT wide. So I was like, oh, is that going to come back to get him? They go up 23-14, then they give up like a bomb. Bills get just a bomb touchdown, I think, on the first play. And so just like that, it's a 2-point game.
Monday at 7 on Fox 9.
Kansas City really screwed themselves. They had the 3rd and 1. It was either in the red zone or close to it. It's 3rd and 1. You're driving. You're trying to go up. You get a touchdown there. It's a 2-score game with, I don't know how much time was left at that point, but not a whole lot. And they run this ridiculous like gadget play. Like it's 3rd and 1. It's the playoffs. You're trying to put away a team that is really, really good, and you take the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. And everyone made this point on Twitter, but like you're taking the ball out of the hands of maybe the best player in the NFL, and I think they put it in the tight end, and he like did a little pitch out or something, and I think it was a tackle for a loss, and they had to kick a field goal, and that looked like it was going to kill them because the Bills go drive down, and at the 2-minute warning, the Chiefs are still up, but then all hell breaks loose. Bills get a touchdown, wide open because our guy Mike Hughes. We officially won that trade. I know we didn't get much for him, but holy shit, he falls down and gives up the go-ahead touchdown with under 2 minutes to go. But then the Chiefs come back down. They hit Tyreek Hill over the middle, and he sprints as fast as I've ever seen a player run in a football game, and it's like 64 yards, touchdown. It's just like that, they take the lead back in less than a minute, but then the Bills go back down because they still have time and timeouts, and they go back down, and then it's what, 13 seconds left, they hit the touchdown, and you're like, well, that's it. Because, if it had been like 20 seconds left, you're like, okay, they can still, because the Chiefs scored so fast themselves, they still had timeouts. So you're like, okay, well, 13 seconds left, it doesn't matter that you have timeouts. Well, yes, it does, because then they run the best 13-second drive in the history of football. Aided by some prevent defense. Leslie Frazier, our guy. They made that very easy. Like these were because they run like two plays and gained almost 50 yards, I think, on 2 plays. And they had timeouts, so they it was just like dead sprints down the field. Get down, and they still had like 4 seconds left. So it was like 9 seconds to run 2 plays. And people were saying, also pointing out they kicked deep. Buffalo kicked deep. Which didn't take any time off the clock. That was probably a mistake, but I think the prevent defense was a mistake. And I was kind of rooting for Buffalo, but I was like, for that poor kicker, I didn't want him to be I didn't want him to miss another kick after all that, and be the GOAT. And he hit the field goal, and then at that point, it's everyone watching knows that it's whoever wins the coin toss is going to win the game. Chiefs win the coin toss, and they go down and score pretty quickly and win the game. And of course, that brings up everyone complaining about the OT rules. I don't like the OT. I'm fine with the OT rules that they have now for the regular season. I think they should have longer than 10-minute quarters, but they should play like a full 15. But I'm fine with those rules for the regular season, but they should change them for the playoffs. It's stupid. Like if you have different rules, in the NHL for regular season OT and postseason OT, you can do that for the NFL. You can have it where no matter what, both teams get a possession. You can do that. No one's going to complain if you do that. Especially in a game, especially when you get in a situation like this where it's like, yeah, okay, Bills could stop them, but no one's stopping them. Neither team is stopping them. If the Bills win the coin toss, they win the game. that's not even in question because neither team was going to be able to hold anyone to a field goal. So, the only hope would have been maybe some sort of turnover. That was it. I don't think they'll change it because I just don't think they care.
Hands that thing off, and we all know what Stafford's about.
It's happened. It's happened in the playoffs a couple times. Where the team gets the ball first, goes and scores, and that's it. And the other guy doesn't get a chance. But those are the rules. Maybe they'll change them. I don't know, but that's a tough one for the Bills because I think the Bills are legit. Like
they're kind of leading the pack with quarterback.
Especially when Green Bay and Tampa went out, it was like if Buffalo won that game, I think they would be the favorites to win the Super Bowl. I still think they're gonna have many chances. I think Buffalo, KC, maybe Cincy, probably one or two other. Maybe if Chargers get together, I think there's gonna be a lot of battles in the playoffs between those teams, combos of those teams for years to come. But that has that experience and development. That's a tough one for the Bills. You watch what he does. Bills have. It's not as if they have two first draft picks. They've crawled out of their abyss that they were in for almost 20 years, and now they've kind of run into the buzzsaw of Kansas City. But we know they can beat Kansas City because they beat them in the regular season. But for the greatest 13-second drive in the history of the NFL, they had them beat in KC tonight. So, tough one for them. Just adds to the Mahomes legacy. Even though one of the touchdowns was entirely the receiver, but
is there a chance they both retire? One retire, both come back? What's your gut tell you? I don't know. I mean,
a lot of
who's going to retire? It's going to be Brady.
A lot of narratives coming out of these games from the QB wins people, because it's like you had one team winning a game because of a blocked punt touchdown. It's like, are we going to credit that all to the quarterback? Are we going to blame Josh Allen then because he didn't win? He didn't win. If a team loses a game, isn't it all based on the quarterback? Isn't it all because of the quarterback?
In that respect,
that's what they tell us.
Rodgers still had an unbelievable season. From physically, he can still get it done.
This is why these people are people drive me insane. The ones who bring up number 8 with everything. It's like, I don't know. These people are nuts. But.
Where's the Frenchman? Where's Pierre? He's on holiday. The Vikings are over. He's over.
If there's a comparison point for our guy, it's the Rams and Stafford.
We'll talk to you
because
next week. All right, still to come here, a performance
if we get
the
right coaching, the right system, because it's not, you watch it like, Mahomes is great, Allen's great, Burrow's great, Stafford has been great at times this year, but you see the offense, the play designs and the game plans. It's night and day from what we've seen with the Vikings. Like there's no comparison. Like it's so vanilla with us. These other teams, they move guys around, they try things. They it's not even about it's not about, hey, we're gonna run up the middle all the time and we're gonna have the quarterback drop straight back all the time. And no, Kirk can't do the things that a Patrick Mahomes can do, or probably even a Josh Allen can do. Like, they're different kind of players, but he can do what a Matt Stafford does. People just learn the wrong lessons. It's like the stuff is right in front of their face, and it's like it just goes over their head. They don't learn lessons. They just learn. They see the wrong things. They learn the wrong things. But anyway, good. For most of the game, for today, it was a pretty good showing for for both of the Rams coordinators who the Vikings have interviewed. And I guess maybe they're going to have a second interview with Todd Bowles. I don't know. I guess usually if you get to that second interview, now it seems weird that they would already have a second interview for a head coach when they haven't even officially hired the GM yet. Although it sounds like polls from KC is strongly the favorite.
Want to play for $100,000? See, I'm in.
But that's for another video. I've been going for a while here. Oh, I've been going for over a half hour. Why do you listen? Why does anyone watch these? I ramble so much. But yeah, hell of an entertaining weekend of football, and we got rid of the two parasites of this league. No more Rodgers. No more Brady. At least for this season. Can actually just sit back and enjoy games where I don't really care who wins. I would say my picks for, I only got 1 out of 4 this weekend. Bengals were the only team I picked that actually won. For next week, I think the Chiefs have to be a significant favorite. But I wouldn't write off the Bengals. Like, the Chiefs are going to have to show up and play. And NFC, the 49ers have beaten the Rams twice this year. And I think they beat them like 6 times in a row. But, it took a big comeback to beat them the last time. Obviously, they're going to have to get more offense. The 49ers, they're going to have to get a lot more offense in order to win in LA. I could really see them going either way. I could almost see any combination of teams. What do you think the Bengal fans are going to think if they get to the Super Bowl finally for the 3rd time ever and they got to play the 49ers again? But if I had to pick, I think we're going to get Chiefs-Rams. Although, it's pretty rare that the two home teams both win in the conference championships. It's not like it never happens, but it's pretty rare. I think it happened like 2 years ago. Last year didn't happen because Tampa won in Green Bay. But yeah, I think I'll say Chiefs, Rams, Super Bowl, and when you can overcome the Brady bullshit to the degree that the Rams did, kind of feels like it might be their year, and it would be a home Super Bowl. It'd be the 2nd straight year that a team gets a home Super Bowl. After there never being one. But hope we get some good games. Hard to imagine they're going to be as good as this weekend, though. These are something else. But hey, Brady's gone. Rodgers is gone. Great weekend for America.